that's only a part of what kind of came out. So, I mean, there's other videos that we do that was sort of like, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
We'll say that for another thing some other time.
Yeah.
And that's the case with the sword and the serpent as well, because basically it's creating a sense of duality between the two sections.
I still think it's infinite, so I still think there's lots more to explore and lots of different dimensions. Yeah.
I sent a message to you this morning, didn't I? I found an actual reference to it.
Yes.
One of his levers.
Yeah.
Sort of kind of casually stuck in there.
That's right. I think it's designed to be an open system, so a lot of people try and teach stuff as though it's a closed system, but it's basically an open system.
And Crowley blows apart this idea that it's a closed system anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what he does, he starts from the top and the Ein Sof 4, which you can see in chapter 0 of the Book of Life.
Yeah.
And basically those three levels, Ein Sof and Ein Sof 4, generate the Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Takes it down to Malkuth, and Malkuth is in Keter, so it goes straight back up again.
Yeah.
And when I was doing the workshops last summer, bloody hell, it's nearly a year gone now. The joke was we're still stuck in the Supernal Triangle. How do we get out? And there's all these magical orders telling you that if you're very lucky, you might get onto Malkuth.
Yeah.
Yesod.
Yeah.
You're very lucky and you pay lots of dues, and we might let you go a little bit further, but never quite getting to Tiphereth.
Yeah.
But actually, Crowley writes it from the top down. I teach tarot. When I read three tarot readings, with Bart and I do 3-card readings, and we always do it with 3. That sounds like I'm bloody scout, doesn't it? Looks like the 3 goes into 1.
Yeah.
And I go on about it because basically it's the father, the mother creates the son, and the son marries the daughter. So the daughter can't be the daughter of the parents because that's incest. She comes from somewhere else in Malkuth. Yeah. And it's a very powerful system that you work with that. And that's basically the Yod Hey Vav Hey system.
Yeah.
And so that, these magical orders, they're saying, well, you might get onto the bottom of it and you might get a bit of it, but it's just too high for you. So we work the other way, and tarot works from the 3 at the top downwards.
Yeah.
Against what everyone else says in the tarot world, basically, because they follow other people and everything.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in the book for the Thoth as well.
Huge amount. I mean, one of the interesting things is the High Priestess, because she's number 13 on the key scale in Libra 777. And 13 is also the number of Achad, Aleph, Chet, Dalet, which means unity or one. Ahaba, which means beloved as well. So 13. Yeah. So the credulous in the occult world, 13, oh my God, that's a devil. That's a death. That's terrible. Actually,
no, it's not. I think there's a lot of blinds in the occult that you have to work your way through to get close to the truth.
And that's one of the big ones is 13. Multiples of 13. Of course, 13 is a prime number as well, isn't it? And if you reverse 13, you get 31 Libra.
Yeah. And 613 is a 78, so it kind of comes back to the tarot as well.
And 6 is a perfect number.
Yeah.
So you've got to do all these mental juggling games, and Crowley's doing that constantly in his writings.
Yeah, which is why it's so hard to understand unless you know what he's doing.
And he actually says all these techniques, you don't need to bother with, they're a load of rubbish, basically. And he's using them all. Hang on a minute. You take him at his word and ignore it, and then it bites you in the bum, because then you find out, actually, if you don't know how to do Gematria, you will never understand Crowley's writings.
Nothing is, nothing becomes, nothing is not. So he uses not frequently to...
Yes, because Allah is not, and now is the name of God. So that's the fall. And the adjustment card. Yes.
Yeah.
So he also does that with Lashtal as well. LA, Intel, Aleph Lamed. And he makes the shin and the tail, which is 309. He actually makes that 13 as well.
Yeah.
So then you have 13, 13, 13, 13, or 93, 93, which comes to 93, that one that people put at the bottom of their signatures. They send it to me thinking I'm a Thelemite as well.
I think if you look in 777 at 418, he tells you a lot about the techniques that he uses to bring everything back to unity. Yeah,
he does. It's all about unity, Ararita, and the union, the triangle, the hexagram, the unicursal hexagram as well. It's all centered on the point of Tipreth.
Yeah.
On the Kabbalistic tree of life.
Yeah.
And we've also done...
And also the finding your genius or your holy guardian angel or whatever you want to call it.
Aiwass.
You define Aiwass, exactly. Exactly.
Other HGAs are available.
Absolutely, yeah. You can call your HGA whatever you want.
We're also...
Or he can call you whatever he wants to call you, which is maybe the other way of looking at it.
We've also, as you might gather from this, we don't follow the script that these organisations tell us is the way that the Kabbalism is done. It all comes from Sefer Yetzirah, but they have a particular agenda to keep you on the tree. Whereas actually, when you actually read Crowley's stuff, it's on the tree, and you don't actually have to go on the tree. And if you do go on the tree, you can go off in another direction as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you also need an extremely good sense of humour when you read Crowley, because there's puns and double meanings littered all the way through everything that he writes. So,
Scatology as well. I mean, Bart came up with some brilliant ones the other day, and I actually we have to do some outtakes at some point of me and Bart's videos of the rude bit. It's funny, and I'm sort of thinking, he said, Paul, can we put this in? And then I think, no, we'll out, because it doesn't really fit in with what we're discussing.
You need a bloopers reel.
Bloopers, yes. You need a kit. Well, he's got cats in the background as well. I'm actually sort of at the bottom. Who's the cute cat in the background?
I saw the cat walk into the video. I thought it was funny. Oh, brilliant.
So we're not doing, it is what it is with the Kabbalistic tree of life, but Crowley's version doesn't match these secret societies.
No, he changed quite a bit of that, I think.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it? Because Crowley's version is empowering, and it says, yes, you have it. Because, when I was doing the workshops last summer, I thought, what the hell am I going to talk about? I thought, well, I do 3 cards. And that became 3. That's a supernal triangle. I thought, well, is it really the supernal triangle?
Oh, yeah.
These 3 cards, and yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is that system. You've also added into the mix the 7 palaces.
Yeah.
Which is a fascinating system in itself that's not particularly understood. And there's a lady called Bathsheba Ash. Bathsheba
Ash, I think. Yeah.
She's doing some incredible stuff with Gematria on this whole subject.
Yeah.
You need a degree to read it. A lot of it goes over your head, it's like, and the significance is this, and is it coming from this? Bloody hell.
Exactly.
We keep on finding stuff that we don't know about. We think, we'll add all this in as well, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
And also to get some results as well, which is also a good part of it as well as So it's like by making the inner changes, you get the external change.
And they've got to reflect, and you can't see the stuff that you've done in the same light anymore. It doesn't work.
Exactly.
We have to find new tech to do the thing that worked last week.
Doesn't work. So transformation is an ongoing
process.
Yeah.
Move on. There's nothing to see here.
Exactly.
Well, how the hell do we do it next time? I don't know. We'll just
see how it goes.
Figured it out so far. I think it's time for some wine, isn't it, Graham?
Yes.
Just going to get some top-ups. We picked the warmest day of the year so far.
Good choice of day. Cheers.
Cheers. Good health.
Good health.
Cheers, everyone. Oh, that's refreshing. It is so open-ended, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
People try and make it, we try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
But it expands, whereas other people try to simplify it and squeeze it down. It's like our readers who are looking for the ultimate divinity meaning of a card.
Absolutely. It's like the single cause, trying to find the single cause of anything is a pointless quest. It's much better to look for multiple causes and multiple...
Absolutely. Monotheism run rampant in this whole...
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
The one true meaning. Are we sort of Lord of the Rings here? Or is it, don't get me started on the subject.
The one true meaning is red wine, obviously. I mean, that's obvious.
Well, it's alchemical, the red and the white. There we are.
That's right.
And, and all of these things. So you've been doing a lot more studying than I, haven't you, on Book 4 recently?
I have indeed, yes.
And what is your pithy conclusions? Your James, what's the name in?
There's two. I think there's two. I read somewhere once that the paths of magic and mysticism have come together in a way that's impossible to describe.
Yeah.
And I think that the mystical path is about going away to find some secrets that you can then bring back to the world, which is, I guess, is like the story of the Buddha sitting under the Bodhi tree and then going back to teach.
We have many Bodhi trees in Brighton.
Yeah. So there's one down by the marina, I believe.
Really?
No.
I'm totally gullible on this stuff.
And then the other side of it is to get results in external, consensus, external reality. And I think the mysticism is more the finding the secrets to teach, and the magical path is more like using those things to make change for other people predominantly, I think, is what most mature magicians would do, and then, or tarot readers, and then eventually it comes together into something that is difficult to put into words, but seems to involve.
And it's work.
Possibly kind of stuff. And dreams.
You see people change around you, and circumstances change. So we don't do a kind of, we're going to do a spell, invoke Ra-Hoor-Khuit, or I was actually thinking about that, because Ra-Hoor-Khuit and Hughes-Barlow, they're treble-barreled names, aren't they?
Yes.
So they're probably certainly representing the. We can't get away from the Entoph and the Supernal.
No. Exactly.
Because one of the interesting things that we do is deconstruct the rituals that Crowley probably did that hasn't been written about, but he has written about in the context of the pathwork and everything else. Because last summer, this guy, Anthony Guy Parker, he wanted me to do the videos. So he started off them. And he wanted me to do pathworking, which I'd never done. And, we ended up falling out. But he was great. I mean, I really appreciate Anthony, because he was the one that he came onto our tarot group and said, nobody's doing any decent workshops and videos on the tarot. Can you find any? Then it's Paul. I want you to do the videos. It's like, I don't know what to talk about. I haven't got anything going. And he's the one that pulled me into this, because I'd never use Zoom because I'm self-employed. I don't need to sort of, talk to my employer on a regular basis because I don't have one. So I had to learn. So the first time was I had no idea how Zoom works. Trying to do this lecture, I had no idea what I was talking about. And 50 people turned up because it's free. They haven't seen me for ages, and it was like, oh, bloody hell.
I've got a really, really difficult boss in my business.
Sorry?
And I have a really, really difficult boss that I work for.
Do you?
Yeah, me.
Oh, right, yeah. I was going to say, where the hell are you going with that one?
I think that's probably another aspect of learning this stuff is you become unemployable or you want to
from idiots.
Yeah, you want to create your own reality or whatever you want to call it,
and actually the work is solitary as well. We work together individually.
Yeah. That's very true. Very, very true.
You know, we sort of come together and we need to figure out some stuff, and then we drift off, and the next day, it's I mean, there's an interesting thing Carl Jung writes about this. You know, that basically, if there's a group of people, individuals turn into a mob and it becomes a riot. I mean, a lot of the problems that people have with rituals is the shit that other people are doing who are also involved in the ritual. That someone's having a nervous breakdown, someone's shaking someone else's wife in the group, and you know, we're holding all the energies together. I don't know how they do it, basically.
It can become lowest common denominator, unfortunately.
It's anarchy, you know, and but actually the individual work is, the work is individual.
Yeah, but all initiation is self-initiation anyway. So you start things yourself and you finish them yourself, and you interact with other people along the way, especially when you meet kind of like-minded people you can interact with on at least some sensible level of discussion.
You know, there's a recognition, isn't there, that we've had similar, different experiences. Similar, different.
Similar but different. Yeah, exactly.
It's like sex. Yes, we've had sex. You know, some where it was good, some where it was bad, some was amazing. It's not like, what's it like? Huh?
You can't really. You can't really put a lot of it. You can't put into words. I think that's what Crowley was very, very good at. Is putting experiences into words that would be.
Yeah. And he sort of said, "This is the experience, and here's why, and this is what you can do with it." And I said, "Well, I've had the experience. I think it's an experience.
Yeah,
what I might do." And he's saying, "Yeah, that is, and that's why."
Yeah, exactly. And I think to some extent. And I tend to get validation from books after I've had the experience. If I read the book before the experience, it doesn't really, really mean anything. It's just like words.
Do you know why?
No.
I do.
Go on.
The thing is, it's like, you know, this is the problem with Goetic magicians. You know, they decide they're going to do a thing for, you know, and they've done the research and they're going to find this spirit, and they spent 6 months setting up the temple to do this one big thing, and they've got their little thing to torture the spirit if it doesn't comply, and they've done all the research and they've got everything there.
Right.
You know, they've been obsessing about it for months on end. And the spirits, like, you know, the spirits have been watching them all this time, thinking, "Oh God, here we go.
Here we go.
We're gonna have to turn up at some point, chaps." You know. So, should we do the scary one, or should we, you know, or sort of, you know, which is what happens, and so there is this appearance. I mean, the thing is, visible appearance tells you that the magician has no confidence that it's real or not. That's the first thing. Because why do you need it that visibly anyway? So bloody effort. Well, I think you just appear in the mind.
I tend to think that treating other entities, like whether human or spiritual or whatever, the same as you would want to be treated.
Respectful, yeah. You know, I mean, it's,
the golden rule is the best way to do it. That's how I try and approach life.
You know, when in the supermarket, the checkout girl, you don't slag her off.
No, exactly. Or try and torture her or put her in a triangle.
No, you just sort of, you know, put the stuff on there. She thinks it, puts the other side. You bag it up and say card or cash. You know,
absolutely.
Do you want cash back with it? You know,
that's right.
And we don't even need to know a name.
No, exactly.
So the thing is, so the magician spent all this time, and when the spirit turns up, In his head, it's like, did I imagine it? Was it real, or was it just fantasy? Because that's a Queen line, isn't it? Is it real? Is it fantasy? Something like that.
Is it real? Or is it just fantasy? Yeah.
No escape from
reality.
reality.
Landslide, no escape from reality.
See, the smart way to do stuff is get on and work things, and then the spirit turns up. I think, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
You are actually to do with this, aren't you? And it's sort of, you know.
I think it's like, I think if you approach life with an open and very curious mindset, you extend the boundaries of reality much further than people who don't have that mindset would do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like open to experience of whatever type of experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the old story, isn't it? You know, when the student is ready, the master appears.
Yeah.
Whereas in this work is when you're ready, the spirits appear.
Yeah.
And they sort of, okay, and usually they'll take you on to the next level if you let them, rather than saying, well, no, you can't actually, because in the book it says you can only do this, this, and this.
Yeah, you're not the right one.
Yeah, bugger off. You know, let me. My job had spirits turn up, and you know, it took me a long time. I mean, there's, you know, I think you can tell we're British, and you know, so we've been brought up on Doctor Who. Okay, hiding behind the sofa usually, you know, the scary monsters and stuff. And in every Doctor Who episode, at one point it gets a bit scary and a bit heavy, and the Doctor says, "Run," and they all run like hell through, you know, these spirits have come from billions of miles away and they can't catch them because they're running at whatever. But the thing is, with spiritual work, because it is about unity, the way to do it is to go towards the spirit, not away from it. Actually, spirit is an aspect of you.
Yeah.
You've externalized the power and you bring it back within. So that's where the unity comes from.
I learned that from don't try this at home, folks, but from a plant teacher called Siniquici, which was very involved in an awful lot of going to the toilet all the way through the night, if I can remember rightly. But they did teach me that about run towards what you're afraid of rather than away from. Yeah.
So this is the thing, you see. You don't, you put the magic circle around to keep this stuff out. And actually, everything, you're putting the smaller, in strategic terms, putting yourself in the smallest possible space. So you have the spirit infinite space. How bloody stupid is that?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if they're that scary...
Well, the circle's useful when you're first starting out to kind of... But after a while, you realise that's not really where it's at.
Well, he did all this stuff in his head mostly, didn't it? I mean, he did it for people to demonstrate.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. He's going around Morocco with his rose cross
stuck to his head.
And a lot of it is about this whole thing. I mean, he's done all the Kabbalistic work beforehand. You see, he probably spent the whole day sort of processing in his head.
Yeah.
The Gematria and all of these things, because you see him do it. He tests. He writes out the name and sort of checks out the numbers.
Exactly.
It relates to and everything else. It's brilliant. I can't.
Yeah. It is.
It's just just too much bloody effort. Just tell me your name. I'll look it up. They're quite happy with that, because just check us out.
Yeah.
They've got nothing to hide. And you can't hide from them because they're kind of in your face.
Yeah.
Sort of, this whole thing of, they're around, so it's a bit like the scary Abramelin rituals. You don't have to go that way. They just get on with life and work out stuff, and they'll be there, that close to you.
I did do my own version of the Abramelin ritual. And I recognise since then that the results are the same for what you're just talking about, because I know that the results are comparable, if that makes sense. But it's a lot more effort doing the Abramelin stuff.
Oh, dear,
a lot more effort.
I feel sorry for you, for the guys that go through this stuff. Mind you, I had a pretty shit life learning this stuff anyway, because
there you go.
misery and pain and suffering. When my teacher said, "Don't worry, Paul, it'll get better," it always got worse.
It never did.
I remember one day I was crossing the road with him, just down the road in Brighton Seafront by the Sea Life Centre. We'd been to the pub, as usual. And halfway across, I burst into tears. And he looked at me and just said, "Fuck off." And I was like, well, I'm not going to burst into tears again, because it doesn't work.
I have a very similar story. I just started doing my Abramelin stuff, and I was in Bognor Regis of all places, and I was like walking along, just minding my own business. And this fortune teller literally grabbed me, pushed me into a little doorway of the shop, read my fortune, and then I gave her whatever money I had in my pocket. Then she tried to get me to go to the cash machine to take out more money. So I went, no, I was definitely doing the ritual, but not to that extent. Because I'm from Yorkshire originally, so I said, no, that's enough
now. The stories we can tell on these things.
Absolutely.
Because it's actually a 24/7 thing. It's not, the one night a week when you do your ritual.
No, it's all the time. Once you start,
it's relentless.
Once you start on the path, you can't get off it. It's not like
there's no escape.
No, there isn't. Definitely not.
I mean, you try and get off it, and then terrible things happen. So you go back on the path, and crap things still happen, but at least it's kind of okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it does get better in the end. But for a lot of the time, I used to have pains in my body when it first started.
Yeah.
And the pains would move around.
Yeah.
And those pains were there 24 hours a day, waking, dreaming.
I had the same experience, so I totally get that.
It's awful, excruciating. And you can't take tablets, because that's not going to do any difference.
No. I don't believe in taking painkillers. So, apart from wine, obviously.
You self-medicate.
Absolutely, yeah.